The question we have before us is, who did it better? Fox or Feige? That is the question. Hello everyone and welcome back to AustinPlus commentary, where today we are covering a bit of a debate. As we all know, the Fox Studios characters for the X-Men have all basically shifted to the MCU. And with the likes of the Deadpool and Wolverine, you've reintroduced some of these characters and mentioned some of these new characters. And also with Avengers Doomsday officially confirming many of the Fox Studios characters coming back as the X-Men, we can all we have a bit of a debate. Who did it better and who will do it better, Fox or Feige? Now, personally, this is going to be a bit of a bias video because I think that the new Fox reiterations are good, but I love that feeling of nostalgia. So that's kind of where I'm a bit biased, but I do love the old films. X-Men Last Stand still ruined my life. The first two films I want to cover is obviously X-Men 1 and then X2. Those were the two films that started off the X-Men franchise, introducing characters such as Storm, Wolverine, Professor X. I think the costume designs could have been better. That's just me. I know people are gonna take that to heart. I just think it could have been better. But I want to go through the reviews and see what people think of those films. We're not even going to cover Last Stand because we all know that was just a shit show. Why is it that people decide to chat GPT their way into this? It's just not necessary. Mankind has always feared what it doesn't understand, Magneto. That is actually one of the best quotes I think throughout all of the X-Men films and throughout Marvel, to be fair. I think mankind has always feared what it doesn't understand, and that is such a term that is true to nowadays. So Rouge, aka Rogue, a young teenager on the run after injuring her boyfriend during an intimate embrace, and Logan, a cage fighter who cannot remember his past, both find themselves the targets of Magneto and the Brotherhood of Mutants. Professor Charles Xavier of... Right, is this a synopsis? I just want the review. Right, okay, I'm gonna go with the final verdict. I'm just gonna bypass all this because I think it's just a lot of a recap of the film. Although I've picked holes in it, I still feel like this is the great intro to the X-Men, even by today's standards. It feels slow and doesn't have any gritty realness of later entries, but the storytelling and world setting is still top-notch. CGI at times might be showing its age. Yeah, I did go and watch the films again. CGI definitely could be better. And the action might look weak, but I still strongly recommend this film. Absolutely, I absolutely agree with that. One of the most popular superhero teams of all time, even when Marvel had to face bankruptcy on a big screen for the very first time and introduced mutants to the non-comic book readers all around the world. Yes. Yeah, okay, after skimming through this just even a tiny bit, reading ahead, this is very much it acknowledges the nostalgia. It acknowledges that it isn't the greatest film because they were working with what they've got, and considering when it was released, yes, it was an absolutely phenomenal film. I've gotten down to the 1 stars finally. I've just finished watching all the X-Men movies. I thought they were good movies, but the story plot keeps on making not sense. Yep, great English, Matt lad.
Boom, roasted.
In the first few films, Raven lives until Charles is old, but in the last one, they kill her off while Charles is still young. What the hell were they thinking? Yeah, honestly, if we start going through this like that, it's just gonna get confusing. Very bad movie I've ever watched. So none of these actually goes into detail, except for this one. I feel as if there is too much contradiction between old X-Men movies and new ones. For example, Jean is supposed to be stronger than everyone, even the professor. Second of all, Raven is supposed to be Charles' sister. There is so many things wrong with this movie when it started on a boy bending the gates because they separated him from his mother. That was set in 1944, and then it says, I quote, not so in the distant future, but then show the boy as an old man, so it is a couple decades from 1944 for the boy so old. But this is the matter of age shows it is years into... Okay, so this person is he's not wrong. The timeline could be so much better. But I don't think people are really looking into that, especially now. With all the variant things, to be fair, this was written 4 years ago, so debatable, but it's not really a big thing now because of this whole variants timelines type thing. So moving on to the X2 film, so a lot of these are pretty good. Like, okay, 3 stars is still pretty good. All of these are mainly 5 stars. I prefer X2 to the X-Men first film. I do agree with that. X2 is the X-Men film that I would absolutely love to watch if I was a fan of the X-Men franchise as a kid. Sadly, I became a fan. Oh my lord, what the hell? Sadly, I became a fan of the series only in the recent years. This movie has all the characters from the cartoon series, and its story is even better than the prequel. Nightcrawler was my favorite character, and here he is. Yeah, he's returning back in Avengers Doomsday. Can't wait. I was a little disappointed he wasn't in the first movie, but he is here now, and he's here now. Even 20 years later, he is still here. I can't wait to see Alan Cumming come back as Nightcrawler. That'd be great. Okay, fine. Okay, I finally read it. That was painful. That was painful to read, but I've read it. And he essentially goes into the fact that, say, Quicksilver and Wanda, the Scarlet Witch, or like Cable, all these classic characters are not also shown. Yes, that is true. But does it really matter? Let's be real. It was still an amazing movie. I would have liked to see these characters in it, but I still think that was beyond their time. And I'm still happy with the Quicksilver and like Vision and the Wanda that we got now. So I think that was a tiny bit of a nitpick, but it's 5 star. It was still an amazing movie. Now I have actually been scrolling for a while, and I think this is so funny. There is not a single 1 star review. That's what I like to see. Yep. Wow, not even 2 stars. Wow, that's incredible. That's actually incredible that no one is rated this film 2 or 1 star. That's incredible. Now, I think the prequels were really good movies because of how they set the foundation to X-Men and X2. And I know we've still kind of got those prequels kind of still coming in, or kind of stopped with Dark Phoenix, but it was still good. James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender made these characters very popular, and I think that those were the people that really set the tone for the X-Men franchise. And and I also think that they were a part of the franchise that was so popular, and these are the most popular films in the franchise, in fact, that I think this transition idea was pristine. And I think we owe it to James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender that we have a set foundation and an amazing MCU carry on with the Fox Studios characters, because this is how they started off, this is how they ended. You had someone that went from this to that, and they are still heading into the MCU again, and it's just amazing how quickly it is all coming together. And this is it's just over a year until we have this next film. I was saying last year that the Fantastic Four film is going to take a while. I can't believe it's nearly been a year since Deadpool and Wolverine. I can't cut that through my head. Now, the one thing that made me curious was the reason I'm doing this video is because how did the Fox Studios characters and X-Men progress into the X-Men franchise, and how did it progress the whole thing and transition it to the MCU? Because people say it was a waste of time. No, it's not. Because you would have to restart that reboot again and again with all of these characters. So we've got James Marsden coming back, Ian McKellen, Patrick Stewart, and Alan Cumming, and all of these people coming back as X-Men. We've got Channing Tatum as Gambit. To be fair, he was the best Gambit. I know it was recent. I don't care. But all of these were set because of the Fox Studios universe. Don't get me wrong, they are not good. I can tell you this now, it's not going to be as good as Avengers Doomsday. I'm sorry. It's just how I think, okay? But it's not, because the foundation has already been laid out, and it is amazing, and you can only do better with that. So there is no way it can get worse.
Are you sure about that?
The only way it could have gone worse is if Deadpool and Wolverine did really badly, which obviously it didn't, and we all knew it wasn't going to, but that's the only reason it would have happened. Now, some of you may also be wondering, why are the new people not in this film, like James McAvoy, Michael Fassbender, Sophie Turner, I've forgotten the rest, like Oscar Isaac, Apocalypse? Mainly because, and I hate to break it to you, no one liked those films. First Class, sound. Like, Days of Future Past, amazing. Apocalypse, shit.
Yep.
There is no doubt in saying that the Deadpool movies are probably the also most successful things a part of this. Like, you can take apart the new X-Men films to shreds. You can. It's not a hard job. But the Deadpool movies are just class. You have Deadpool 1, which was just, it was a phenomenal comedy and X-Men film, and we also were introduced to X-Force common characters like Cable, Colossus, Negasonic Teenage Warhead, Domino, Deadpool, obviously. But these films were also so funny, they were entertaining, and they did so well box office wise, and the second one was really good. And then 6 years later, they dropped Deadpool and Wolverine, and it just takes the world by storm. And whoever says that Deadpool and Wolverine was bad, let's go and find out. I would like to reiterate, there is not over 9,000 reviews for this film, and it's not even a year old. The X-Men didn't even reach half that. That's incredible. Right, I am not interested in seeing all of the good comments and all the good, amazing, phenomenal comments, because we knew this movie was great. But I want to see, oh my god, no. There is actually some. Why? What is wrong with people? Oh dear god. I see this shit and want to cry. To be perfectly honest, it was a bait and switch. I went from hoping for Deadpool 3 and instead I got an MCU film making meta jokes about MCU films are bad. Composure, Austin, composure. I didn't laugh at the self-aware jokes, I just agreed. Yes, what were you doing in a multiverse movie is bad and boring. I miss you superheroes. Didn't encourage you to basically have a PhD in oh my god! This guy is nitpicking at the fact that, an X-Men is in a multiverse film. What? If all you want is another episode of the MCU to smugly endure and say I get that reference every few seconds, then I endure. I hear Doctor Doom is being played by Iron Man now, and we should all be very excited for him to lose before they advertise the next film. Maybe he'll even lose to Squirrel Girl. Oh, I'm had it with you. No, goodbye, senor. I had the misfortune of watching this film. While I didn't wait long to find out, the movie starts within the first 10 minutes. I'm bored out my mind. Deadpool is the most insufferable character I've ever seen, and was rooting for him to die when my brother says he's invincible. I've had enough. Goodbye. Now, Deadpool and Wolverine, obviously, let's just forget about everything that was said by the negatives, and let's just discard that. But Deadpool and Wolverine was their first and only chance to really showcase their technique in how they introduce Marvel characters into X-Men characters into the MCU, and they did a phenomenal job. As I said, let's just forget about what that was, but I think it was a phenomenal job, and they did an amazing way of doing it. But the multiverse, the multiverse aspects did get a bit of get tedious in this movie. I can ignore that 5 Ways to Sunday, because this film was so good. It was so funny. The story was amazing, and it just opened doors for the X-Men. You have characters from other universes, such as Ghost Rider. I know he wasn't in the film, but obviously look at this concept art. You had Daredevil, you had Elektra, you had Blade, you had Gambit. I don't know what universe he was from, but I'm all for Channing Tatum as Gambit. There's no way I have a problem with that. But we know that Gambit is getting his own movie as well at some point shortly. I think after Doomsday or Secret Wars. But when the X-Men and introduce more established characters with likes of Rogue and Captain Marvel, Captain Marvel 3 has apparently been confirmed that Rogue is the villain. Don't know why there's Captain Marvel 3 to start with anyway. Captain Marvel, not America. But all of this stuff will establish the MCU's own. They're using the old ones as a popularity scheme. I know I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but I don't care. You can take my cinema money. You can take my cinema money any day of the week if I can see Fox Studios collaborate with MCU characters. Just take my money. I also think how they're introducing, say, new characters, because we'll see variants in this film and we'll see new characters and new versions of these characters, so these can die off happy. Because let's be honest, none of the characters in the Fox Studios universe ended in a good way. I think Doomsday and Secret Wars would have an amazing way of ending it for the likes of characters, but I make a judgment on the fact that the MCU is actually doing a better job already at establishing the new X-Men and developing the old ones that we already have, but also they are going to put them to rest, and I do respect that they're still prolonging it until 2027. Well, everyone, that is the end of today's video. I do hope you all enjoyed it, and if you have any other opinions about Fox Studios and the MCU, please leave a like and subscribe. Please leave a like and subscribe, and also comment what your opinions are on it, and tell me if you're excited for Avengers Doomsday. I know some people aren't, and I don't know why. I don't know. But anyway, if you did enjoy this video, as I said, please leave a like and subscribe, and comment what else you would like to see on AustinPlus or on Austin Plays Gaming as well. And it wouldn't be a typical video if I didn't hope that you all have an amazing day. So, as I said, I hope you all have an amazing, tremendous week and day. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.
Yeah.